What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this was a great day again. I love it. And a lot of people will look at this result and say, "Oh, well, it's Brentford, so it's at home against Brentford, so who really cares?" Well, the FA Cup is known to have some magic to it. I mean, you look at some of the results today. Liverpool upset by Wolves at their own place, 2-1. Tottenham nearly upset by Wycombe Wanderers at their own place, ended up 4-3 Tottenham. And then Southampton, who are in the League Cup final, are getting upset right now against some no-name team. Like, are something? Who is that? It's such a magical cup. Things can happen. You never know. So you really, if you're the top clubs, you have to be on top of your game to make sure you're not giving away easy results. And especially, even though Tottenham did make it through, 4-3 against Wycombe is still not a good result. And the one thing that a lot of people are going to look at is say, well, Liverpool and Tottenham played a lot of their youth players. The truth is, they had to, because they don't really have a second team. Chelsea today played their second team. They have enough backup players to where, there are some youth players out there, Chalobah, Loftus-Cheek. They're younger. They're not first team quite yet, but they're also not like Terry, who's old and not really getting a whole lot of first team time. So I don't know. I compare the two. Liverpool and Chelsea both made 9 changes since their last game, but Liverpool had to put in a bunch of youth because what else do they have? You go to their bench, they don't have a whole lot coming off the bench. They've got Sturridge coming off the bench. That kind of tells you the difference. We've got, we bring on Ivanovic and then Kennedy and then Costa comes on just for a few minutes. I think that shows that we've just got a bit more depth than most of the other teams, that we're not having to dip all the way into some youth players that hardly ever see the field, aside from their youth games. So, really great result as far as that goes, as far as the fact that we got to give some of these players that haven't been playing a whole lot a chance to get out there and play, like we did against Peterborough. And it's a relatively similar team. The one thing I do like is the fact that Azpilicueta did stay in the team this time. And I just think that really helps when you have your best defender out there. It just sort of brings a bit of calmness to the defense instead of, oh no, we're freaking out because there's Cahill and Terry out there who are both lacking in speed. The fact that you have Azpilicueta and Zuma out there means that there's just a bit more stability back there. Terry brings the leadership, and I just think that back three is really strong. I would have liked to see Zuma in that center of the three, just because I think he looks much more comfortable there, because he's got somebody behind him to make up if he makes a mistake. But at the same time, he did do well, and my dad, I was talking to him about it, he did bring up a good point in the fact that Zuma won't be playing there if he does get first team time. That's David Luiz's spot. Like, he's pretty much owned that spot since he came in and we switched to the 3-4-3. So I do agree with that. Zuma won't be playing that position in the first team. So it does kind of make sense for him to be playing in a position that he actually will get some game time in. So the back three was great. Begovic in goal, that's fine. Give him some game time. Just he's possibly on his way out, so just maybe up his his price a little bit by he makes some good saves, he does well, and he did do well today. So there's a chance that some teams that are looking at him say, okay, well, he is worth whatever Chelsea want for him. Wingback wise, I like it. Ake on one, that's great. One that provides more rest time for Alonso, because I think that has been one of his issues recently, is just he's not well rested, and so he starts to make mistakes because he gets tired and he's been playing game after game after game. So I like the fact that we now have somebody who can step in and take that position for him. On the other side, Pedro, I would have liked to see Willian. That's the only problem I have with the starting lineup, is I think Willian is more of a winger than Pedro is. I think Pedro is better in that position and behind the striker. So I would have liked to see that switch, but it was still okay. Pedro does work well to win the ball back, and I think that's one of the things that you want out of that wing back, that you want them to get back and win the ball, and he does that very well. So into the midfield, Chalobah and Fabregas both played well. I like those two together in the midfield. They're both very creative on the ball. Fabregas, every single time he hit a ball, before it, like, just as soon as he hits it, I'm like, that's a good ball. And sure enough, it's right on somebody's chest. It's right to a Chelsea player. Like, you could, every single time you watch a Chelsea game, if you were watching it with a friend, every single time Fabregas hits a ball, you could throw $20 down and say it's going to a Chelsea player, and you get, if you're betting more, you would get all that money. There's probably one time that it doesn't go to a Chelsea player out of an entire game. The rest of the time, it is spot on, perfect, and it's one of the reasons why he continues to get game time. Like, a lot of people thought, oh, he's on his way out, but then he has a game like this where he's just dominating the midfield. Every time he picks up the ball, we are in control, and we are the team that looks more likely to go on and just score so many goals because he just provides a bit more calmness in the midfield. Chalobah is a bit more the defensive worker of the two. Still learning a little bit, just decision-wise. I think he's got to make a few more better decisions. I really like him as a player. He works hard. His passes are really good. His defensive work is really good. It's just because he's young, he's still learning. There are times when he should be stepping in and winning, and then there are times when he should be backing off and cutting off passing lanes. Stuff like that. He's not making the right decisions at the right time, and it can lead to some trouble at times. But overall, I'm still happy with his performance. Let's see. Up top, it was Batshuayi, and then Loftus-Cheek and Willian, and behind him, like I said, Willian would have preferred to see him at the wing, but he did well today. His free kick goal was incredible. Just back to the Willian I remember from last season, because honestly, his free kicks sort of dropped off after Mourinho left. This was one of the good ones. Just brilliantly bent around the wall, upper 90, not much of a chance of the keeper getting there. And aside from that, he did play well. He went on a few runs. There was one point where it looked like he may have gotten injured, but then 5 minutes later, he's charging down the field. People are trying to stop him, and they can't. He's just that fast. Loftus-Cheek still has some issues with him. It's so hard for me because I want to look at that and be like, okay, well, he's young, so he's still learning. But at the same time, it's the same stuff that I've been seeing since last season whenever he was getting some game time. It's the lack of effort to go and get the ball back after he's lost it. It's the lack of desire to go and win a ball when it's a 50-50 challenge. There's one early on, Ake played him kind of a short ball. He had to go get to it, and I know he can get to it. He's got the long legs, he's got the body strength for it, and yet he's getting beat out because he doesn't really go all the way through. You watch Chalobah, you watch Ake, they're young players who love to get stuck in. They just want to hit somebody, and that's what's great about watching him. Loftus-Cheek, he's not one of those players. He's not somebody who's going to get stuck in. He does great stuff on the ball, but that's about it. So, that's just the problem I have with him, and it's honestly part of the problem I have with Mikel, just the lack of desire to go win that ball back whenever you've lost it. So overall, I'm still not quite happy enough with him. I still think he's got a ways to go. One of the things I saw in Conte's press conference yesterday was that he said he was going to, he might loan Aina out, but most likely Loftus-Cheek and Chalobah were staying. I really think keeping him is just, I think it's a mistake. I think we need to loan him out to one of the lower clubs in the Premier League or one of the top clubs in the Championship. Just give him a chance to really get some game time and have to play with some of these rough and tough players, because I think he needs that. I think he needs to get stuck in more. He needs to get challenged a bit more, and maybe that will just help his confidence and help him be able to make those decisions a bit more. Batshuayi, I was happy with his performance today. I thought he worked hard. A couple times should have had a goal, but Pedro was offsides both times. So, he did so much work. I'm glad they let him take the penalty because he definitely deserved it. Or Fabregas could have taken it. He deserved it too. But I love seeing the work that he puts in whenever he does get this time. It's only in the FA Cup. It's only against Peterborough or Brentford. But he's taking the time well. He's using it, and he's working hard, trying to prove, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it into this team. I'm going to get some time in the Premier League. And he's well worth it in my opinion. He's growing every game. You can see the decisions are being made more and more. The times when he's not making the decisions, I think, are becoming less. There's still a few moments you can see where early on in the first half, ball comes in. I can't remember who challenged for it. I think it was Willian, and the ball gets popped out. And you're just like, okay, so this is where Batshuayi steps in and wins it, right? Well, he's still off camera. Like he's not close enough to where, okay, I'm ready to go get it. Yeah, as soon as the defender makes that bad touch, as soon as he misses it or whatever, I'm ready to go win it back. He's not that type of player yet, so I think he will get there because there are moments when he does do that. But overall, I mean, I was happy with him today. So, as far as the sub goes in the second half, pretty much most of what I wanted. It was not. I don't know. It wasn't exactly what I wanted. I wanted to see Kennedy in. It was great. I love seeing the fact that Ake moves back to center back and Kennedy moves to the left wing back, just because I think he can play that position as well, and I believe Ake can play that center back position as well. Ivanovic, I don't mind seeing come in. He's not my first choice, but the fact that he came in and did so well, it's nice. There's talk that he's going to be sold this January transfer window, so anything he can do to up his price is great. And the fact that he's just still willing to work it's good to see. You want somebody on your team like that who's still willing to work, even if he's not getting the game time, even if he's not at the same level that he was. He's still working hard for the team. And I think he and Terry both are those type of players who, even though they're not featuring in the first team, there's still so much they're doing whenever they do get the time that it's just nice to have a leader figure like that on the team. The one that I did have kind of an issue with was Costa coming on late. Don't really know who else you would have brought in. You had Hazard on there. I can't remember who else was on the bench, but I think Moses was too. I don't know. It seemed strange to me that you would bring on Costa in that situation. There's kind of a risk of playing him in a game like this. He does something. Possibly coming off a back injury. He's had hamstring issues. I don't know why you would risk him in a game like this where it's gone. It's 3-0 at that point. It just didn't. It seemed right to me, but it wasn't bad. It's just not what I really wanted at that point. But he came on. He worked hard, tried to get Loftus-Cheek and Kennedy a goal, and like I said, the team as a whole just played really, really well. And I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's just one thing to look at it and be like, oh, well, it's Brentford. But it's another thing to look at and say, well, Liverpool lost to Wolves. Tottenham had 3 goals scored against them when they played Wickham. We beat Brentford 4-0. There's no goals there. We kept a clean sheet. We had our second team on, except for 2 players. That says something. That makes a statement. All these other teams, Liverpool, they're knocked out of this. They're knocked out of the League Cup. What do they have left? The Premier League. Well, we're kind of running away with that. So it just kind of makes a statement that, we're doing well in this competition, and we're doing well in the Premier League too. We can handle both because we've got the team for it. So overall, I think, just to kind of wrap up, man of the match, in my opinion, probably has to go to Fabregas just because of how much he dictated the game. Obviously, other people were scoring, other people were doing well, but I just think Fabregas is the one that you look at his performance and you look at what he did today. Without him in there, we probably wouldn't have seen as much of the ball as we did. We probably would have had a bit more shared possession. Anybody played poorly? I don't really think so. I can't think of anybody that I didn't like seeing out there or anybody that I thought made so many mistakes. Even Loftus-Cheek, like I said, that I have some issues with at times, he still had enough moments to make me say, yeah, he deserves to be out there. He deserves to get some game time. So you go back and forth on some of these players, but all in all, it was a good day. It was a good result. It was a good performance. So obviously we got Liverpool come midweek on Wednesday. They are on a string of bad results right now. 3 losses at home in a row, and we're playing them at their place. So it's kind of like we have the chance to make it 4 losses in a row at home. Really just compile on the misery for Liverpool right now. That would be a great day. I don't have anything against Jurgen Klopp, but I do have a lot of things against Liverpool. So the fact that we have a chance to just kind of put them to the sword and really take advantage of a lot of their defensive mistakes, and the fact that without Mane they really don't have a whole lot of attack, I'm actually looking forward to playing them at their place, which I didn't think. If you asked me this like probably I don't know a couple months ago, I would have said, "Oh, I can't. I don't want to see that game. It's going to be a rough game." But now looking at it, I'm like, you know what? We have a pretty good chance. The big question, of course, in all of this is, I think Matic and Fabregas are the two players that are seeing the most rotation. Pedro and Willian are the other two. So it's just a question of, you've got Liverpool on Wednesday and I think Arsenal on Sunday. It's either Saturday or Sunday. I'm pretty sure it's Sunday. So the question is, where do you play which one? Do you go for it at Liverpool because they're not doing well right now, or do you go for it at home when you're playing Arsenal but risk Arsenal hitting you on the counterattack? So I'll be interested to see what's going to happen. I'll be really interested to see what team comes out on Wednesday. But I'm really excited, looking forward to it. On to the next round of the FA Cup. Let's just hope we don't get Wolves, because apparently they've been knocking off a couple Premier League clubs, Stoke and Liverpool, at their place too. So as far as who I hope we get, I mean, at this point, it feels like anybody we get probably do well against. So I'll be looking forward to the draw, I think, on Monday. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this game? Who's your man of the match? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.